Hey and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Netflix's new J-drama, Chastity High. If you've seen series like Elite or Hierarchy, you'll kind of know what you're getting into, but there are some stark differences between those series, those dramedies. The show has generated quite a buzz since its release, and for good reason. It's a wild blend of high school drama, romance, and social commentary. So what makes this one worth watching over those? Well, I'm going to talk about it. Let's talk about the premise. The series is set in a high school that has imposed an absurdly strict rule. No romance or sexual relationships allowed or you get expelled. That's inside the school grounds and out. The school's administration enforces this rule like Umbridge does in Hogwarts. Expelliarmus! Now this might sound a bit dystopian, and it kind of is, but it's actually inspired by a real incident in Japan, where a school imposed similar restrictions and faced backlash, even leading to a lawsuit. The plot thickens when a mysterious social media account starts exposing the students who dare to break the rules. This account becomes a puppet master of sorts, blackmailing students into doing its bidding by threatening to spill their secrets. It's like Gossip Girl meets Battle Royale with a Japanese twist. And if you've not seen Battle Royale, you should get onto that. That's brilliant. The tension ramps up as the students try to figure out who's behind their account while also navigating their own tangled relationships and personal dilemmas. So if you've watched shows like Elite or Euphoria, you might find some similarities here. Like those shows, Chastity High is about young people living under intense scrutiny, dealing with forbidden desires and facing the consequences of their actions. But where Elite might focus on class divides and Euphoria on substance abuse and identity, Chastity High zeroes in on the tension between societal expectations and personal freedom. It asks what happens when you push young people to conform to unrealistic standards. One thing I really appreciated about this show is how it handles its characters. You might go in expecting the usual high school tropes, the jock, the nerd, the queen bee, but Chastity High gives us characters with depth and complexity. Take Ichika, for example, who becomes something of a main character. Her relationships with Ryogo and Atsushi are especially compelling. Ryogo represents that slow burn, deep connection kind of romance that will have you rooting for them on the get-go, while Atsushi's unrequited love adds a layer of longing and tension that's deliciously painful to watch. What's interesting is that the show doesn't just focus on the students. The adults in the series, although not as prominent, also play crucial roles. Our main protagonist, in fact, has a mother, yep, go figure, who for me is a pivotal character. Even though she's not there a lot, she plays a lot into creating our main protagonist's character. It informs the story rather than drive it. Their storylines are woven into the fabric of the main narrative in a way that feels organic and necessary. This isn't just a show about teenage angst, it's also about the pressures adults face in trying to maintain control in an uncontrollable situation. The principal is pretty much a character I love to hate, and you will probably love to hate. Her cartoonishly evil demeanor can be off-putting, and I think a little more nuanced in her characterization could have gone a long way. But maybe that's the point. She's a symbol of the oppressive systems these students often fight against. Rather than a fully fleshed out character, she represents an embodiment of nastiness for the students to focus their fight on, amongst others. The show is definitely not without its flaws. The pacing can be a bit all over the place, especially as you approach the final episodes. There's a point where the show seems to lose its way, becoming a little too chaotic for its own good. Episode 8 in particular feels like a departure from the rest of the series. There's a sudden shift in tone that might leave you scratching your head. It's almost as if the writers weren't quite sure how to wrap things up, or had plans to make a crazy move and get people talking about the end so that Netflix will go, oh, what's this that they're doing? Because people are talking about in the zeitgeist of the internet world, maybe they'll renew it. I don't know if this is the plan that will work, but good luck to them. Another thing worth mentioning in this show, and it's what grabbed me as a 45-year-old white bearded man who is British South African, who has certain ideas on what romance means. It was the romance mixture with the premise that really grabbed this 45-year-old man's heart and make me stay to watch the whole series. So it's centered on a ban against relationships. You'd expect a lot of tension around the idea of love. Chastity High delivers on that front, but what's surprising is the level of innocence in these relationships. There's no over-the-top lust or gratuitous scenes just for the sake of shock value. Instead, the show opts for more subtle exploration of young love, one that feels real and relatable. It's sweet, but there's always this undercurrent of danger, knowing that these characters are constantly at risk of being exposed. It's the balance between the sweetness of first love and the threat of catastrophic consequences that keep you on the edge of your seat. So you're probably going to be asking yourself, is it worth me getting into this season? Will there be a season 2? Well, as of now, Netflix haven't confirmed anything, and honestly, I'm not sure it deserves a second season. The way this ends, it could be a one and done. There are definitely story threads that haven't been concluded, but for the most part, there is a one and done story in here, so that if Netflix probably doesn't renew it, this can be a great one-off, so it doesn't get milked like certain other seasons. So finally, Chastity High is a wild ride. It's not perfect, but it's very gripping and exciting. If you're into high school dramas with a twist and don't mind a story that's a bit all over the place, give it a watch. Just be prepared for a few moments that might leave you scratching your head and wondering what on earth just happened. I give Chastity High 3 out of 5 Nicolas Cages.
You got one.
Thanks for watching this review. As you can see, I've changed my format up somewhat, making it more cohesive, but probably more wordy in some places. I hope you're enjoying this. I do some thorough research before I am reviewing these series, so I know some of the characters' names that I probably decimate, but I do my best to say them as accurately as possible and give you the information that is accurate to what I feel, but also to what is on the internet with, like, how many seasons they're getting, whether it's based on a true story. A lot of prep goes into these before I put them out, so I hope you like the effort and I hope you find it somewhat entertaining and enjoyable. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite J drama and which one should I be watching next? Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.